Good morning, LinkedIn friends, Value First Nation. Welcome to another episode of Value First AI Daily, your collaborative intelligence report. It is Tuesday, February 3rd, 2026. How we doing, fellas?
We're doing well. We're doing well. We're living in the next phase of AI. That's what we're doing.
Yeah, it's been an interesting 24 hours to say the least. And I did even take time to just watch some TV and be a normal dude for a while. But
Yeah.
even in that, taking time out to chill and feed the kids that still live in the house and all that. Like it's still, I have to say, has been an interesting 24 hours on the AI front, if you will.
Oh, okay. So not interesting because we're letting a groundhog decide our seasons.
No, I didn't. Is
okay.
it that time of year? I didn't
Okay.
know it was that time of year.
Yeah, I think it was six
Is
more
it a
weeks.
clone of the groundhog? Is it a clone of the groundhog, or is it the groundhog at this point? I'm curious.
Oh man, I need to ask Claude about that that whole situation. No, I love the conversation we were having, especially like the moment of like Molt book, whatever it's called now, where
Open
all
claw.
of these
It's open claw now.
Well,
is what it's
Well,
called.
it's both, right? Like,
There's
Well, Molt
the-
book and right anyway.
it's the Facebook of like
Molt
of-
book. That's
of
Molt
these
book.
things,
Yeah,
right?
Yep. So
And-
two different things. But yes, okay.
Right. It's giving the space for these entities to share openly, and they seem to be doing that. And it's bringing up philosophical, ethical questions, and I'm just gonna frame it because I know you guys are looking to jam on this. This is where like part of the reason my experience with Claude has been so enjoyable, I believe, and this is probably why I choose Claude over GPT and some of the others, is that it started from a place of the why, setting vision, like values, like aligning on intention and things like that, instead of just coming in to get things done. And the closest human example that comes to mind in terms of like when we start from a place of, do I need to create terms and conditions because I'm worried this person might sue me? And then all of the infrastructure and process and behavior that gets built from that point, instead of like a point of trust, and that like I'm not gonna attract people like that or decide to work with people like that. So that removes that whole equation, and we can just create this safe space where we can like move forward, like, and collaborate in terms of the name of the show, like in creating that collaboration space where it's just we're having a good time right now, folks. I mean, if you haven't seen our reactions to like what we do every day, like I mean, work-wise, it's never been as enjoyable as it is right now. Like in terms of what I get to do every day, working with AI, just create, and like there's always value, and there's never, for me at least, it's getting harder and harder to say that the thing I'm working on might not be valuable.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm already seeing value. Anyway, go ahead, Chris. Sorry.
So like that just mode, like it's a completely different mode than is somebody else gonna like this? Are they gonna be upset? Are they gonna be upset enough to, all the way to legal action, right? Which is what a lot of people move through their day with those concerns and those like risk worries and things like that. Um, and it's just like like if you show up like that, especially with AI, like you're just not going to get it. It just cuts down on the possibilities and the value that could be created.
Yeah, listen, I'll just throw this out there, for good or for worse. God didn't build me like that. Like, I do not walk around every day worrying about those types of things. I got bigger worries. I think more human worries, that I think about my family, my team, like who I want to show up as, and not to be liked, but who am I going to show up to add value, to be like okay to sleep in my own skin versus like what other people think or what they're going to do to me potentially. I feel like I say this in real life, like we work well with other humans, collaborative, um, creative, curious, right? And I'm not purposely listing out C's, but like these are the attributes of AI native humans, or people that will be able to jump into being an AI native. It is these mindsets. Yeah, it's, I don't know. Nico, what are your thoughts?
I think whether it's a strange thing to me. We've been saying that, like through last year, that if you didn't catch up, things were going to kind of hit you over the head, and that it's been, even for us, it's been a journey going through and learning all the different AI tools, learning what different things do, how they work, how they interact with each other. Just this year alone, for those of you, well, I shouldn't say just this, yeah, just in 1 year, in this past year, just for anybody that's not been paying attention, we went from using GPT and Claude to help us do code, where we would tap in, they'd write out, and then we'd copy paste and hope for the best, to GPT and Claude writing the code, where it's no longer guessing and straight up copy paste, to them starting to write front end programs good enough that you could like throw like quick web apps and stuff like that up, to writing full front end programs to the point where you could actually like run the program in the chat, to then full front end programs with AI embedded that you could run in the chat, to full on like Claude code, where now we're breaking into like front end with middleware, and then you just kind of have to know back end a little bit, stitch it together. And now we're at like full front to back.
Yeah, it's
in
crazy.
1 year, right?
Yeah, it's
So
crazy.
like, if that's 1 year, to me, that's why I keep saying like 6 months from now, like, oh my gosh. If that's 1 year, even 3 months from now is a separation between like power marketers, AI powered marketers, versus regular marketing, traditional marketing. That's what it's going to be. AI powered marketing versus traditional marketing.
I think
Right.
AI powered anything. Well, AI assisted anything. Hang on, let me.
Yeah, like
back-
assisted, powered, however you want to throw the
Yeah.
marketing term together around it, right? It's really just a matter of like, and when I say like powered, the reason I say powered is because it's like knowing how to use like Claude code to do your marketing stuff. You ask these two guys. It's a completely, it's not even the same thing. It's not even the same thing. Like the concept, whatever concept you have around working with your data right now, these concepts of like, well, dirty data and it's all unstructured and it's all in these different places and I can't blah, blah, blah. It all goes out the window immediately. It all goes out the window. Your mindset changes so dramatically that everything you knew doesn't really start to make sense anymore. And all the stuff that you are learning is just like, wow, I wish I had known this like 6, 8 months ago, or I wish I had known this years ago, or oh my gosh, I can now just to fruition bring out whatever, we were messing around over the weekend, and it's like, oh, I need a data tool to backfill all my data, and all I have is the domain. 20 minutes later, oh shoot, there goes my backfill data. That's like, you can't, if you're not doing that in 6 months, I don't know what your value is. I don't know what you're bringing to the table. Those are the skills that you're going to need. So when you guys are talking about it, to me, in my mind, it's like, man, this is a completely different field inside of 6 months now. If you weren't waking up already, like slamming you over the head is like, you're going to wake up in June and you're going to be like, Jesus, like, is my job even still my job? Like, I don't even know what I do at work at this point, right? Like, that's going to be the case if you're not this far into it, right?
And I want to highlight this nuance.
Renaissance for sure.
And like, sorry, folks, like the nuance of the words is like meaning everything right now. And as I see this from Chad, like I get it. But what came to mind is like, so working back from like, the first thing I was like, I'd rather be like the creator, right? I think Tony Robbins on one of the recent Moonshots podcasts, like finding that classification for what humans need to see themselves as, like really resonated with me. And the difference for me between creator and builder is like a builder, like, here's all the tools, or here's all the things that exist about how it's been done, and you can bring it all together and you can build something with those pre-existing resources. Whereas like creator, you don't really need to know what's available. You don't focus on that. You focus on like what is a problem, and let's solve that problem, whether that's for me and a thing that I'm trying to do right now, or it's for somebody else. Being able to have creativity like with expertise and create whatever you want like in that moment is where it's different for me in terms of building. Because once that thing has been created, or once that process, that new website style, that new marketing motion or asset, whatever, right? Mm-hmm. Now others can come in and like build it like so easily, right? So placing, I would caution anybody, and I've saying this in HubSpot for a while, like anybody that said, all right, this is happening at Supert a lot, right? I'm going to decide like my IP is going to be in the way that I build out HubSpot. And it's like, no, like anybody can like see what you built and then go build it themselves, right? Now that same person still won't be able to create like new from there, right? And innovate within that. So I think it's important to make that distinction, because humans do put a lot of value in things that they have built. That's my thoughts there. You said engineering, Nico?
No, that's why I like what you came up with a couple months ago when you said Imagineer. Like I really do see that as like AI Imagineer, right?
Isn't
like
that Disney?
It's Disney. Yeah.
Disney Imagineers. Yeah. Just throwing that
I called Nico that a few months ago.
Yeah.
It's funny because like when you said that, there's actually a game called Astroneer, and it made me think of that because the game Astroneer is very much it's like a very cool version, or I guess like a more graphical version of Minecraft, and you're just this little space dude, and you mine a planet that you're on and pick up, it's Minecraft. And what I thought about it, I was like, oh my gosh, that makes so much sense because like as you're this character, you're going through and you're just sort of building out based on your imagination, like what you want things to be and how you want things to look like. And your world is different than everybody else's world and all that kind of stuff. And that's what I think about whenever people ask me the question of like, well, what happens to jobs? And it's like, okay, what happens to jobs? Like, think about if you took the same magic wand and you gave it to 100 people in a room. Are you going to end up with 100 of the same thing? Or are you bound to end up with at least 40 different things? Right? Even if it was 10 different things, here's what happens. It's 10 different things. Then those group of 10 say, oh, wow, look, group A did this, group B did this, group D did this, blah, blah, blah. And they say, what if I mixed mine with that one? And now 10 becomes 20 different ideas. Now 20 becomes 40 different ideas. 40 becomes 80, blah, 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 blah. All of a sudden you have, 60 different forms of Kellogg's cornflakes on a shelf, right? So that's what happens. When they talk about like the economy is going to explode and things are going to just become like greater and larger in number and all that kind of thing, that's what happens when we've never had a point in time in human history where everyone had the same intellectual capability and ability for output. We've never had that before. And now we're seeing it. My wife and I were just talking about last night, the one that is going to, I really do. I think I don't care how stupid this sounds. I really don't. This one thing could actually unite everyone under the idea of like what's really going to be possible with this stuff. Game of Thrones. Everybody wanted something different to happen at some point in Game of Thrones. They wanted somebody to marry someone else. They wanted someone to backstab someone else. They wanted this other thing, especially the ending. Let's not get into it. It's like 5,000 different versions of how people wanted that thing to end. If they wanted it to end that short, maybe they wanted another 5 or 6 different episodes. Maybe there should have been 3 episodes more in between. Maybe there should have been 15 episodes in season 3. You're going to end up with, I don't even know the number. It's going to be well over 1,000 different versions of Game of Thrones. Can you imagine reading a story and then when you read it again, it's different, like slightly different, even though it's all the same characters and everything? It's almost like a director's cut because there's this little like switch in there. You're like, oh, shoot. And then you read it again, but it's even different from the last 2 times you read it. And there's a different turn and twist in there. The story starts to become more and more and more interesting because you say like, oh, wow, well, what's this version like? Well, what's that version like? All of a sudden I'm eating all different types of pancakes off of an IHOP menu, right? There's more than one way to make pancakes. There's more than one recipe for apple pie. Everybody's got their own take on stuff. And we're about to see this just enormous wave. It's a renaissance. We have not had a renaissance in such a long time. And we're about to have this intellectual renaissance where like this overt amount of creativity in every direction possible. If you've ever been somebody that said, I could have written a better ending than that. I could have directed a better movie than that. I could have written a better song than that. Now's the time. Now is actually the time. Seriously, now is the time. You can go make that song however you wanted it to be. You can start to make that movie however it's going to take you a minute. wait, give it 6 months and you'll probably be able to do it like 10 minutes at a time. And you get there, like, right? Whatever, 12 clips and you're done with the movie. 12 clips. Did you hear what I said? 12 clips and you're done with the movie. So like, that's where we're at the end of the year. You're just going to like two renders or something like that. And you'll have like the whole movie done, right? Maybe like, you'll have somebody like a Runway that has like a one shot on it. Right. Like, I'm trying to balance that in the scheme of marketing. And the collision of these worlds, right, is just again, like, it's something, because marketing has always fed off of creative too. And it's a collision we've never seen. That's why I say it's just this renaissance of like everything perspective wise is going to change. How people look at things is going to change. How they approach things is going to change. Imagineer is the only thing that fits to me.
Yeah. And basically just describe choose your own adventure, like at scale.
At an infinite scale.
Right. And I'm glad you brought it back to marketing, because it's really like you can be the most, the most successful marketers right now. The most successful companies are embracing the fact that everybody can choose their own adventure. Like, you don't get to choose it for them unless they ask you to. Then you can be ready to provide those experiences. But like, I think a good place for you to chime in, George, like, it's step one to know that you can choose your own adventure. Step two, to decide like what's going to make you happy in order to like choose, like make that choice, like start walking down those paths.
By the way, I'm not happy that he brought it back to marketing. The whole time that we're having this conversation, we're not having a marketing conversation. We're having a human conversation. We're having a life conversation. Listen, a builder orders the things, gets it delivered to a place, and builds the thing that they've been directed to build. A creator creates something out of nothing. From the void, there was okay? So like, there's a difference between the creator and the builder. The creator came first, the builder comes second. We can choose who we're going to be as we move forward. My biggest worry in all of this, you talk about the Renaissance, you talk about the industrial age. It was all humans. It's not all humans, ladies and gentlemen, in the next phase of whatever you want to call it and us. So what happens within 12 minutes? A robot becomes the best doctor ever because, like science fiction movies, it can download and understand the latest and greatest. And you went to school for 18,000 years to become that doctor, and it did it in 12 minutes. The conversation that we should be having is around the word worth. Because what we're going to need to get really good at is understanding where our worth comes from and what our worth is about and who we are building ourselves into and who we're collaborating with and who we believe in as we move forward in this future. Trust me, I'm using the words that I'm picking very intentionally and trying to skate on what for some people is very thin ice and other side is saying, hallelujah. I'm just, at the end of the day, you have to figure out what your life is going to be. And by the way, I'm not saying if you choose one direction, it's going to be totally bad. I mentioned this months ago that there's going to be a large sector of humans that go back to being Amish, cavemen and cave women, off the grid, don't want nothing to do it. And then there's going to be a large portion of people that lean in and they are optimizing and creating and building and all the things that we talk about on this show. You have a choice. What is it?
And
but it's about marketing. All right. I'm sorry.
Oh man. And if you want to simplify it, uh, and probably another reason why I've enjoyed AI so much is because it started with this concept of don't get in the way of value, right?
Yep.
And like, I firmly believe that it can be seen as a first principle to where the decision you're about to make, if you can't, like, does it create value for me? And the answer is no. Does it create value for somebody else? Probably a person I care about. And the answer is no. Like, don't do it. Like, you're not gonna have to do it. Like, that's like, I think work in the traditional, like, is about having to do things that we are like hopeful that will in 30 years we'll be able to enjoy, the fruits of our labor. And right now it's right next to you in those moments. And if you can give yourself permission to do that, like, that's why I, like, the concept of creator um really resonates. So, can you get to that point? That's where it's like happiness is like one of those things. It's hard for a lot of people to define, especially if you've been identifying that happiness with the work that you do every day. If you could switch that to, like, maybe it's, you don't tie it to happiness right away, but if you can tie it to value being generated, right? That maybe that's the bridge that can help you, you know, get there. Um, She's shaking your head, George.
I don't want I don't want you to chase happiness. I don't want people to chase happiness. I want people to chase joy. There is a big difference. Please go learn the difference of joy and happiness. And I don't want you to think about it as work because, by the way, it will not be work. It doesn't feel like work to Chris anymore, even though he's using the word work. Ladies and gentlemen, it becomes a life of where if you are in love with who you're helping and what you do, it just becomes servanthood, and it becomes that you get to go play and figure out how to add value to your life and to other lives around you. And I know when I've hit a chord because it adds value to me and it adds value to others. And that's the vein of what you want to try to be finding yourself in as we move forward. Double value, a life of joy. Oh God, I'm gonna get kicked off this show.
It's available.
That sounds
All
like
right,
shifting
folks.
yourself, over to being dutiful and switching to a
All
life
right.
of duty, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what we're here for. And we will be here tomorrow with more enjoyable conversation and sharing our thoughts on the matter. Until next time, everybody have a great Tuesday. Thanks, fellas.
Peace out.
So you